What is an ecosystem? An ecosystem is formed by the interaction of a community of organisms with their environment. In President Park, Midrand, you shall find forest-like ecosystems and wetland ecosystems. A forest-like ecosystem is the collection of different organisms that live within an environment where grasses and trees are the primary form of vegetation. A wetland is a land area that is filled with water, either permanently or seasonally, such that it takes on the characteristics of a distinct ecosystem. What is the problem? Pollution is the introduction into the environment of bad chemicals and particles which has harmful or poisonous effects to the earth. In President Park, I have found the following forms of pollution: water pollution, air pollution, light pollution, land pollution, and noise pollution. Water pollution is the contamination of water bodies. This form of environmental ruining occurs when pollutants are directly or indirectly put into water bodies without proper treatment to remove harmful compounds. Noise pollution are noises that disturbs an organism, thus making them leave their habitat. These noises are man-made noises that comes from things such as airports, railways, vehicles, construction sites, and etc. Human beings contribute to polluting the air in our atmosphere to a huge extent. Examples are manufacturing, construction, and mining, which can cause the pollution levels to increase. Another way of adding pollution to our atmosphere is through the vehicles that we drive. Vehicles emit a variety of different gases that are very harmful to the environment. A wide range of industries and factories that are related to livestock, metal, and plastic cause land pollution. Inappropriate waste disposal is a major cause of land pollution. Light pollution occurs when lights shine upwards instead of downwards. Our lack of conscience to use eco-friendly electricity has increased light pollution. What are the dangers of the problem in the ecosystem? In a food chain, you will always find plants and animals interact with each other. What sustains these organisms are the oxygen cycle and water cycle. When an ecosystem gets polluted, the balance in the system is disrupted, which affects the organisms. It is very important for us to know how a simple act of introducing toxic waste into a water source can threaten a lot of different species and plants in the area. Pollutants can have a massive impact on the ecosystem, especially if water gets polluted. Water sources in or very near President Park include tributaries from the Karlspruit and Olifantsspruit rivers or from underground springs. A prominent wetland in the nearby area is the Glen Austin Bird and Bullfrog Sanctuary. If we constantly contaminate the water bodies that feed the wetlands, we will overwhelm the filtration system and cause it to clog up and disturb the balance. Certain plants that need the oxygen in the water will die. Lack of oxygen in the water will cause fish to die. Birds reliant on the fish as a source of food will eventually die, and the cycle continues. How do we as humans affect the environment? Initially, President Park was an agricultural area. Recently, there has been an increase in businesses being established in the area. In addition to this, the need for land has resulted in certain parts of the area being rezoned. This negatively affects the local ecosystem because it increases the likelihood of the neighborhood being polluted. In President Park, pollution arises from a number of source and air pollution. People throw their waste in or near water bodies or on the ground instead of throwing it in the bin or at landfill sites, and yet they still do not see the problems it has on the world they live in. I have noted that there is a lot of building rubble illegally dumped throughout the neighborhood. This may be coming from many homeowners renovating or from the surrounding businesses beginning to establish themselves in the surrounding areas. The building contractors they may be using are acting in a very dishonest manner, often choosing the easiest way of getting rid of the rubble. This waste does not degrade naturally and will cause havoc to the ecosystem for a very long time. I also saw that certain weeds tend to grow on these rubble mounds. These weeds will spread throughout the forest-like ecosystem in President Park, negatively affecting the plants and animals. During the rainy season each year, there are many areas in Midrand that become saturated with water. These will even include huge land owned by developers. Waste being left in this vacant area will eventually contaminate any water it comes into contact with. Many insects and animals will live off these mini wetlands and then become poisoned by the polluted water. This contaminated water will also feed into the larger wetlands. Noise pollution arises from transportation needed by the increased population within the area. The nearby Grand Central Airport will also impact on the levels of noise pollution. Machinery that is used by businesses in President Park will also contribute to noise pollution as well. People in the nearby townships are the main contributors to air pollution when they use fires to heat their food and homes. People on agricultural holdings use fire to burn vegetation, and the pollution coming from the towers of the Calvin Power Station in Kempton Park. It is possible that other manufacturing companies in Kempton Park could also be contributing. Since there has been an increase in the number of residents and businesses in President Park, there has also been an increase in the need for improved security. That means that premises now are more often lit up at night to reduce criminal behavior. This, along with the light from Grand Central Airport and the Gautrain depot and station, causes light pollution. What are the economic impacts of the problem? As we pollute the nearby rivers and underground springs, it will require more money to treat the water to make it safer for drinking. The scarcer drinking water becomes the greater the need for bottled water. This demand will cause the price of bottled water to increase. In the beginning, President Park was once a farm. Over the years, it was subdivided into smaller agricultural holdings. Over the last number of years, we have seen an increase in the amount of bed and breakfast establishments, as well as numerous conference and wedding facilities being raised. The increase in pollution will have an impact on the tourism benefits. Further losses in tourism will be encountered should the Laurie Park Zoo and the Glen Austin Bird and Bullfrog Sanctuary become affected by the pollution in President Park. Buyers will not be eager to buy properties near the polluted water bodies in President Park due to the unpleasant sight and odors. In addition, the increase in traffic causing congestion and smog will not be a good selling point. The various forms of pollution will have a burden on the medical infrastructure in the area to treat the sick people. What are the social impacts of pollution? Polluted water carries bacteria. This means that the people near these water sources, most notably in the townships, coming into contact with it will get sick. Sick people tend not to interact well with others and may have negative mental consequences as well. The increase in level of noise will affect the animals in the area. People's sleep patterns can become affected if the noise pollution happens at night. This will once again affect the health of the residents. We may become very unpleasant in our interactions with persons and businesses who have been caught or suspected of polluting our neighborhood, instead of rather having a community that works together. Good day, sir. I noticed you're staying in this bed and breakfast. Are you from these parts?
Hi, no, I'm not actually from this area. I'm out of town.
Okay, and what attracts you to this area?
Well, look, Midrand and President Park in specific, there's still a lot of open spaces, big lands, plots and things like that. So what I like about this area is the nature. That's why I come here.
Okay, and have you noticed any pollution during your stay in President Park?
Well, it's actually funny that you mentioned it. Yes, I've actually seen 2 large mounds of rubbish, and that is very unsightly.
Okay, and what are your thoughts on this?
Well, to be honest, I don't like it. And it might just be a thing that's happened now recently with your strikes that you guys have been having. But if it's going to continue, it's definitely going to make me think twice about visiting this area because it doesn't look nice.
Okay, thanks for sharing your thoughts with us.
No problem. Enjoy.
How do we as humans prevent pollution? Have environmental awareness educators train schools to become people who reduce pollution in the neighborhood. The schools will then help teach the community of our wrongdoing. On a regular basis, the schools, together with the community and the surrounding businesses, will help on cleanup programs and anti-litter campaigns to help reduce this situation. Residents should have their own smaller recycling bins to help the whole waste separation and recycling process at the source. At some point, the government could possibly introduce a law that would result in people being fined for littering. More steeper fines and sentences could be passed down onto any persons or businesses found guilty of pollution. As a start, the Department of Water Affairs and Forestry, with local government officials, could begin visiting the many businesses in President Park to determine any potential oil leakage into underground water and other water bodies stemming from motorized equipment these businesses are using. The idea is to educate those unaware and to address those who are truly ignorant. With the support of the government, improve the public transportation system in and around President Park to encourage residents in the community to use their own transport less. There is also a need for the transportation system to utilize more fuel-efficient vehicles. Help those residents living close to work to rather walk or cycle to work. Possibly medical aids can reward their members due to these activities providing health benefits. Thanks for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this video.